Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney and this is Courtney and Books. It has been a hot minute since I've made a video, and I'm sure a lot of you aren't really paying attention to how often I post, but I pay attention to it. I made a goal to post weekly on this channel and I skipped a week. The reason for that being is I just got finished with a show last weekend, well this past weekend, and that was Mad Monster here in Arizona, where I sell my paintings and my artwork and stuff like that, and I was really trying to prepare for that and make some money off of that, so that sort of took up a lot of my focus in the week prior to the convention, where I was preparing and trying to get prints of my artwork and just generally trying to get my head together. So I am now back to doing YouTube and I hope to stay consistent again. So if you're like me and when you get really busy and focus on a lot of other things, you want to read but you can't commit to some big series or a big book, maybe you are somebody that can do that, but I generally try to finish my books in 1 to 2 days, no matter how long they are. So because I have not been able to do that, because I haven't had a lot of time, I've been reading a lot of novellas and short stories. And so today I am giving you guys some of my favorite novellas and or short stories. So if you're like me and you're really busy but you still want to read and you just don't want to commit, I have a solution for you. Hopefully some of these will help, because I've been plowing through a bunch of them. Sometimes I wonder if I should put short stories in wrap-ups and stuff, and I mean short stories like 20 pages and below short stories. So I don't know like if that really qualifies, but in today's video it does. So let's get started. The first one that I have on my list of short reads, and these usually, to me, a short read is something that is below 200 pages, and that's something that I could read in a couple of hours. And the first one on this list is one that I just read fairly recently. I think I only read it a few weeks ago. And that is Brutal Keeper, and it is number 3 in the Federation's Keeper series by Alexandra Norton, and it comes in at 146 pages according to Amazon Kindle. So this book is an alien romance, and it features Priyanka, who apparently in this world, and maybe I would understand the world a little bit better if I started at book 1, but I found this book and it didn't say anything really about it having to be read in order, and that's something that I like. I really like standalones, especially with standalones that are in like a series. Priyanka is a woman who was given to sort of a chieftain, or they're called keepers, and I guess they're sort of like the leaders of their tribes. She is given to one that is a total dick. He is an asshole, and I mean like abusive, physically abusive, mentally abusive. He has chosen not even to learn her language, even though it would literally take like 2 seconds for him to install her language. And so there's like a language gap between them, they can't understand each other, and so she's basically just in this loveless marriage, and the whole point of this marriage is to get her pregnant. And that is not happening. So the abuse increases. Somehow this man dies. I forgot his name. I mean, he's not really important. He's just sort of the catalyst for the rest of the story to happen. So he dies and she is left alone. Without a leader, this tribe needs someone else to step up. That person is his identical twin brother, whose name is Latham? He left. He doesn't want this duty or anything, so he left the tribe. He is far away making his own life. And he is called to become the keeper of this tribe, not only for the tribe but for his twin brother's now single wife. And there's a lot of politics and a lot of other things behind the reason why he has an obligation to basically take up the responsibility for this woman. So Latham goes back to his tribe to take up the responsibility for his brother's widow. The life has been basically beaten out of her. She has nothing left. Like when he first sees her, she's in bed, she's sickly, she doesn't want to do anything. And when she first sees him, she thinks it is her dead husband, and she's got all kinds of PTSD from that situation. When he tries to take her, basically he is stopped and they're like, you can't do that. And he really wants nothing to do with her. He plans to basically make sure she's okay and that she can live among his people and then just leave. In helping her learn how to survive, he starts to develop feelings for her. And at first they're really not sexual at all, but then it sort of develops and he sees certain sides of her, certain strengths that he didn't see before because she was basically, you know, had given up on life. And it basically moves through their life together when he eventually gets her away from that tribe or away from that village and all the sort of hardships that they face because they are now runaways. And while they're trying to live together, they're basically just bonding over normal things. And I thought it was actually really, really interesting. And it was a slow burn, which is interesting because it's like 140 pages. Like, how can it be a slow burn if it's such a short book? But the author manages to make it a slow burn, and I really enjoyed it. It's cute, and it was fun, and it had a happy ending, which is kind of what we all want anyway. So, as a short read, it was good. As an alien lover, I loved it, and I thought it was original, and I recommend it. Next one I have on this list is The Sacrifice and the Spare, and I have mentioned this one before as well. This comes in at 103 pages, and it is a vampire romance novella. It is the first in the Bound by Blood series by... I did not write it down. BRB. It is by L. Beckenstowe. Shit. L. Beckenstowe. So, weird thing, I have a very bright ring light shining in my face right now. So when I went to see, or when I went to my computer to read the name, I was actually seeing spots from staring at this bright light. And so I just sort of like skimmed over her name and I saw Ella, and then I saw L, and then I saw Beckenstone, and then I saw Beckenstowe. So anyways, L. Beckenstowe. That is her name. So this is a short book. It is about an arranged marriage. In this world, we have vampires and we have humans, and vampires are not well liked. There's a lot of racism or speciesism, supernaturalism against vampires in this. In order to basically bring these people together, there has been an arranged marriage where this woman, Bria, has been arranged to marry Kalen. And Kalen is all for it. He is super excited. He's very bound by honor, so no matter who his bride is, he is very committed to staying loyal to her, even if she is a vampire. And so he's trying to basically get everyone to open up their minds and you know, be more open-minded about him being married to a vampire. And we have Bria, who at the wedding she's a little bit reluctant because at the wedding she's already kind of experiencing a lot of this prejudice against her, and she's feeling a little lost. And I think, like, you know, her new husband, it's really cute the way that he welcomes her and the way that he sort of helps her through that and assures her that he is going to be a very loyal husband. And somehow in that 103 pages, the author actually squeezes in a little bit of a murder mystery. So I thought that was really interesting. I enjoyed it as a short 100-page novel. It was enjoyable, it was quick and to the point, and she managed to get a lot of story in there for what it was, so I enjoyed it. The next book I read, and you guys have heard me talk about this before because I enjoyed it and I put it on a couple of my other videos, and that is Hold by Claire Kent, and it is 180 pages. It is another sci-fi. It doesn't have anything to do with aliens, but we have Rihanna, who did something and is now being sent to a prison planet. This prison is held on a planet that is watery and the water is toxic, so the prison is underwater, under this toxic water. So even if you escaped the prison, you can't just swim up because the water will just destroy you and eat you and you will die. So she is sent to this prison. It's a pretty brutal prison because, I mean, like, it holds a lot of the worst criminals. She really doesn't belong there, if you ask me. She is not somebody who would typically find herself in this sort of situation. And one of the guards, when he's giving her like this tour of the prison at first, sort of gives her some advice. He sort of takes a little hint of pity on her, and he says, in order to survive down here, find the strongest criminal and basically offer yourself to him in exchange for protection. So she does that. She offers herself to Cain, who is the biggest baddie in prison. He is so bad and so intimidating that he has his own cell. And that's very appealing for a woman who doesn't want to sleep in like a common area where people can just touch her and do whatever they want to her all the time. She wants a private cell that will be locked at night. And so she sees this guy Cain and she basically makes a deal with him. So it ends up being a forced proximity thing and they start to get closer. It's obviously a lust to love thing because in offering herself to him, he takes her up on that bargain and he does protect her. And as you might imagine, their relationship develops from that point on and they actually do grow some very strong feelings for each other. And I enjoyed it. It was fun and it was sci-fi and it was great. The next one on my list is Willing Prey by Ali Oleander, and it comes in at 135 pages. So this is a story about Claire, who, wow, that is the, no, yep, nope, there was not another Claire, never mind. Claire is a woman who just got through a divorce. She's divorcing her husband, who she found out was cheating on her. And she has a specific kink that her and her husband shared where he would chase her through the woods and when he caught her they would have wild sex. And it's a very primal, very like interesting kink. And our main guy, Shane, is, I believe he was the boss of Claire's husband. So he actually saw her sort of like in the crowd at one of these like work gatherings before they got divorced. And had a huge crush on her. She is big, she is strong, she is beautiful, and he overheard her very drunk husband talking about their little kink where he would chase her through the woods, and Shane is awakened. He has a sexual awakening where he thinks about that and he is like, God, that would be hot. So he starts hiring women to do this for him and nobody really appeals to him. He's not into it. It's not working for him. But then he hears that Claire is getting a divorce and he jumps on that opportunity to offer her, I believe, $20,000, $30,000. He offers her a pretty big sum of money to spend a month in his mansion. And the deal is that she gets this watch or something that gives her a little notification when he wants her to run. And I don't know how much notice it is. Like, I can't remember if it was a set time, like 30 minutes or whatever. But basically she has a small amount of time to prepare and just take off into the woods. And this becomes their little game for a month. And, you know, she takes off, she runs. Their deal is that she doesn't surrender, that she actually tries to fight. And that's really sexy. So she takes off running. Sometimes she will even take a backpack, like she might be out there for a few days and he's just tracking her. And then he catches her and things just get super, super steamy. And every time their interaction is a little bit different. And the power play sort of switches back and forth sometimes, and I thought that was really hot. And it was a short read. Like I said, it was very short and very simple and to the point, and I really, really liked it. The next one that I have is When She's Married, which is in the Risdaverse series by Ruby Dixon, and this is only 80 pages long. I believe there's another Risdaverse novel that's like 400 pages long, so you know, you really just kind of gotta go through them because she has a lot. Ruby Dixon writes a lot, and I am confident in saying that she has hundreds of books out. But she, maybe not hundreds, but she's got somewhere close to that. Anyways, the Risdaverse series is a series of books that are standalones, but they're all in the same universe. Some of the characters kind of cross over now and then, and that's the kind of series I like. As I've said before, I really enjoy those kind of series. I write those kinds of series because that is what I enjoy. It makes me feel like I'm not having to commit to something when I have such a hectic life and a brain that won't stop and a short attention span. When She's Married is a book about, it's sort of an arranged marriage kind of situation. So in this universe, there are a lot of women who've been abducted from Earth, and when they are rescued, there are laws in the universe and some species that, you know, obviously don't want humans to be sold into slavery, and so they are rescued once in a while, and some of these rescued humans are sent to Risda, and they're given little plots of land where they can make a life for themselves, because in this world, humans can't be returned to Earth because humans on Earth don't know about aliens yet, and to return them to Earth would suddenly, you know, say, hey, aliens exist, and humans would just, their brains would blow up. So there's a law against returning humans to Earth once they've been taken from Earth. Therefore, they are sent to planets like Risda to basically try to make a life for themselves. It's very jarring. A lot of these people are struggling. They're basically given a farm, but with no means to really take care of it, so they kind of have to figure things out on their own. Some of them fall into the role very easily, and other ones need a lot of help and security. And we have Piper. And Piper has a farm. She needs help though. She needs help on the farm. She needs security. And we have Vortigar, who I believe is a prisoner of some sort, or a criminal of some sort. And he basically only has one option in order to stay out of prison. I could be wrong. It has been a long time since I've read these books. And she has so many of them, sometimes they kind of blur together. But anyways, long story short, or not long story because it's only 80 pages, but to sum it up very simply, these two find each other married, and not out of love, out of necessity. He needs to stay out of prison. She needs a big strong husband to help her around her farm. And so they marry, and things happen, and he, you know, Vortigar thinks it's just an arranged marriage, and he's just gonna go through the steps and that's it. But then he ends up being very attracted to his new human wife, and it's really cute. The next one I have on my list is Trouble for My Troll, which is in the Fairhaven Falls series by Honey Phillips, and it comes in at 158 pages. This is not my normal read because it is just so happy and so bubbly, and it's a small town romance between this woman and a troll. This woman is, I can't exactly remember why she is so eager to give up her previous life, but basically she just picked up and left and went to this small town called Fairhaven Falls, where she is getting, going to a job interview, and she gets into an accident with a truck, and the driver of that truck is a big, bad, blue, hunky, muscly troll named Will. Allison is very stressed, and when she runs into this troll's car, she is more stressed, and he is a mechanic. He was kind of forced back to this town for like family obligations. He is kind of reluctantly taking over the mechanic business for his family, and so he's kind of grumpy and doesn't want to deal with this stuff, but he sees this adorable, tiny, I believe she's on the curvy side. He falls head over heels for her at first sight, basically, and so she gets her car fixed at his shop. These two sort of continually talk to each other because she is now living in this small town, and other than the fact that he is a troll, this is a really good, feel-good, like happy small town romance between this woman and this troll that is like 4 times bigger than she is. So I thought it was really cute. There is slight like fated mate or like mate bond aspects to it, if I remember correctly. So if you're into that, then it's in there. And yeah, other than that, like I said, it was just a happy small town romance with a troll. The next one that I have on my list is The Risk, which is part of the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. And that comes in at 132 pages. This I read in my slasher romance era, which I'm still slightly in, but not as heavily as I was last year. This is a little bit interesting because if you read a lot of slasher romance books, they are typically about a male or a man who is a slasher or a serial killer kind of stalking a woman. And this is kind of different. It was kind of a breath of fresh air from those sort of storylines because she is a survivor of a very brutal crime and attempted murder who has completely changed her life around, and now she is out for revenge, and she is very good at keeping all of her past traumas to herself and creating this character that nobody would suspect. And I can't remember if she actually got like plastic surgery or anything like that. I don't remember if she went to that extent, but I want to say she did. So she is a serial killer, and she's good at what she does. She meets a cop or an FBI agent in a coffee shop or something, and they start to hit it off, and she really likes him, and he is really good to have around when she is trying to look for these serial killer or this killer that ruined her life. Obviously the tension between them is a little thick or a little tight because he is law enforcement and he is investigating her murders that she is committing while trying to get this person that tried to kill her. So, you know, their dynamic is really interesting because they obviously like each other. He doesn't know that she is a serial killer, and she obviously doesn't know how to tell him that she is the one doing all these things that he is investigating. So I thought it was really cute. I mean, I say cute, and that's a weird word to use in a serial killer romance, but their relationship actually is really cute, and so if you like that kind of thing, I would recommend it. She's a badass, and he is, at least in the first book, oblivious, and their relationship is quite normal, other than the fact that they are both keeping many, many secrets from each other. So it was good. Lastly, and I'm not including this as a individual thing because I read like 30 of these stories that this woman has written because there's so many and they're so short, and they were so entertaining that I couldn't stop. So I read like I said, like 10 or 15 stories in the past week by Adrian Blue, and if you haven't heard about this author, she basically just writes short stories, and it's a lot of monster smut, and it's a lot of really obscure things. They're all, not all of them, but most of them, a really, really good portion of them are like 25 pages and under. So if you just want a quick, satisfying, obscure monster romance, then I would check out Adrian Blue because she has no shortage of them. And so anyways, those are all the short reads that I have for you guys today. I unfortunately only had a short list for you because when I am writing, I have a spreadsheet that I started a few months ago in order to kind of organize all of the books that I read and remember what they're about vaguely so that I can do videos like this. And one of the things that I failed to do is specify whether a book is a novella or a short read or a full novel, which I should have done because now I'm making lists like this with short reads and novellas, and when I'm going through my spreadsheet, I did not write it down, so I don't know which ones are short reads or novellas. So I will be doing that from now on. I'll be like listing whether these are full novels and stuff for any future lists that I do, but until then, that is all I have for you guys. So my camera memory card just ran out, and so I didn't do my outro. So I'm doing my outro on my phone. So it looks different, probably sounds different. I don't think anybody cares. But anyways, hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I'm trying really hard to get to 700 subscribers, and unlike everything else that I feel like I need to do alone, I can't do this without you guys. I also forgot one more thing. My latest book just released at the beginning of this month, and that is Crash Landing, and it is the number 3 in the Surge series, which is my alien romance series. So if you like alien romance, check out my book. It is on Kindle Unlimited and Kindle or whatever, however you want to read it. It is available in paperback as well. And yeah, if you read it, please leave a review. Tell me what you think. I love you all. Bye.